Everybody, I'm really excited to introduce a new feature for the channel that I'm going to be doing at the end of every month. I am going to be posting a video where I give little summaries of all of the movies that were new to me that I saw in that preceding month. So I'm going to do January. I have longer blog reviews of every single movie that I'll talk about. So this does not include any repeat movies that I saw that I'd seen before. This is all just new movies, and this includes movies that I saw in the theater and movies that I saw at home. So they're not all necessarily new releases. They're just new to me. So let's get started. Start with the movies I saw in the theater. The first movie I saw in the theater was Selma. I thought it was great. I really was moved by it. I thought it was inspirational. I really liked David Oyelowo's performance. I learned a lot. I didn't know a lot about the things that happened in Selma. So it inspired me then to go and learn more about those events, which I think is really important. And I think the kids should see it. I really was moved by it. I think there are a few casting choices I thought were a little strange, and some British accents that wandered a little bit, that were supposed to be Southern. So I don't know why Hollywood does that when they cast British people as Southern. Why not just cast Southern people as Southern? Other than that, I thought it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. At a content grade of B+, there are a few slurs, some violence, some scenes that are tough to take, but I think it's really important, and I think the kids should see it. I think there are a lot of movies that do the hateful redneck way worse. So I think this one's actually pretty tame, and I think it is totally appropriate for middle school and up, definitely. So next movie that I saw was Whiplash, and Whiplash was a really good movie. It's super well paced. You're definitely absorbed while you're in it. The performances are great. Of course, the soundtrack is amazing with this amazing jazz performances. I thought it was an interesting study on what are we willing to do to be the greatest. That was interesting, but I felt like it was missing a little bit on the character's motivations. Why does he want to be the greatest? I never really felt like I knew exactly. Is it just the love of the music? Is it because of his dead mother? Is it, what is the reason that he's willing to put up with this psychopath of a instructor? And he is absolutely a psychopath. He is insane. It's a little bit over the top sometimes, I felt like, that I just didn't believe that kind of thing would really be tolerated by anybody in this day and age. But it's compelling while you're watching it, and I really did enjoy it, and I thought it was a very good movie. So I gave it a B+ on my blog as far as a overall grade, but I gave it a D as far as content. It's definitely adults only. It's got a lot of profanity. It's got a lot of abusive situations, intense situations, and there is some blood in different scenes, and there are homophobic slurs, and quite a few of them, and I didn't really feel like that was necessary. I felt like that you could have used other words. And I didn't know why that had to be that much. But they're trying to make him seem like an awful guy, and they did a good job because he really is an awful guy. So the next movie I saw in the theaters was Paddington. Paddington is a total delight. It's funny for adults and for children, but not in the wink wink innuendo way, which I hate. It was just funny and charming. And I loved the fact that they didn't have any scenes of like, oh my gosh, there's a bear, because that would have been so cliched and so boring. It's just kind of like, oh, there's a bear, okay. And that made it funny to me. And it's just funny, the idea of a bear just walking around. It reminded me a lot of a Muppets movie where the Muppets, in fact, I think 20 years ago, it would have been a Muppet movie. It would have been a puppet. But in the sense that like nobody is like, why am I talking to a pig in a Muppets movie? It's just another character. And that's kind of how it felt. And I really enjoyed that. I thought the villain was really funny. I thought it was paced really well. I loved the production design. I gave it an A+ in both content and overall grade. I think it's really a strong movie, and you should go take your kids. It's actually Strange Magic. This is the George Lucas animated movie. And it's gotten really terrible reviews, and I do feel like maybe the reviews are a little harsh, even though I kind of gave it a bad grade. It's harmless. It's if it was a made-for-TV movie, or a direct-to-DVD movie, I think I would give it kind of a pass. I really thought the songs were so on the nose. Like, as soon as you know that character's named Marianne, you know you're going to hear Marianne by Frankie Valli. If there had been Hound Dog, we would have heard Hound Dog. I mean, it just was so uncreative. Like, there were so many songs that I felt like they could have picked that would have been a lot more interesting and told us more about the character than a song that we've already heard that exact line. We know that about the character. Why are we singing about it? And that's a problem that a lot of musicals have. I love musicals, but when the songs don't tell us anything new, they just get boring. And the performances were okay in the songs, I thought. They had pretty good singers. I thought the animation was fine. I think it looks nice. It's a lot better than last year's animated stinkers as far as the way it looks. It's much more pretty than the Nutjob or Legends of Oz, and I was more entertained, honestly, but that's kind of damning by faint praise. The thing that sinks the movie, Strange Magic, is the script is so stupid. I mean, the things people say are just so dumb, and I actually was the only one in the theater when I saw it, so I took notes. So definitely check out my review, because I was able to write down all these just terrible lines. So, like, lines like, "You've got your head in the clouds, a cloud of boys." You know, it's like, what? Are you kidding me? It's like, this is what George Lucas thinks the way that girls are. He evidently made the movie for girls, and so that means you have characters that go to a lot of parties. There's a wedding, there's a dance, and a party, and you have characters that all they think about is love. And it reminded me a lot of Romeo and Juliet, which I just think is such a stupid movie. Sorry. You know, the way it takes a Shakespeare, but it dilutes it until it has almost no meaning at all, and it adds bizarre songs that don't have any purpose to the story. So I didn't get it. Sorry. But I gave Strange Magic a D, and I gave it an A in content. There's nothing really offensive about it. So those are the movies I saw in the theater.